Lando Norris and the curious case of what on earth is happening. Ah, Lando Norris. The golden boy. The meme king. The guy we all rooted for when he was crying in the rain. The one who made us believe McLaren was back. Well, fast forward to the 2025 season, and things are starting to look a bit less drive to survive, hero, and a bit more please survive the next few races without crashing. Let's just say, Ralf Schumacher has some opinions. And boy, he's not exactly sugar-coating them. According to Ralf, former Formula One driver, professional truth dropper, and part-time deliverer of reality checks, Lando's future at McLaren isn't as secure as it once seemed. In fact, it might be teetering on the edge of a very awkward conversation with Zak Brown. You know, the kind that starts with, "We need to talk," and ends with a LinkedIn profile update. Why? Well, it turns out being fast in preseason testing is great, congratulations, Lando, Bahrain was wonderful. But actually being fast when points are on the table is, what's the word, required. Norris came into 2025 with swagger. He was the bookmaker's favorite. People were throwing money on him like he was the second coming of Lewis Hamilton with better hair and a Twitch account. And honestly, after that stunning victory in Australia, through tough weather, gritted teeth, and probably a few, "how am I still driving this thing?" moments, everyone thought, yep. This is it, Lando's year. But then? Cue the dramatic piano. Things went sideways. And not in a cool, Tokyo Drift kind of way. More like, a wobbly supermarket trolley veering into the canned goods aisle. Since that Aussie triumph, Norris has slowly, and unfortunately, turned into a case study in how to lose a championship in 4 races. Oscar Piastri, the quiet, polite assassin of a teammate, has pulled a full-blown heist. The guy has taken 3 of the last 4 races. He's made Lando look like he's driving in a slightly different formula. Possibly Formula E. With a flat battery. Lando now finds himself trailing Oscar by 10 points. 10. That's not a, "we'll get him next time, champ," situation. That's, you might want to start looking over your shoulder. And if that wasn't enough, Saudi Arabia happened. The Landinator, bless his brave, British soul, sent it a little too hard in qualifying. Into the wall. Just the kind of oopsie that gets the commentators awkwardly clearing their throats and analysts suddenly pulling out pie charts of driver errors per race. Ralf Schumacher, bless him, wasted absolutely no time giving it to us straight. On the Backstage Boxengas podcast, which, let's be honest, sounds like a German EDM club but is actually about motorsport, Ralf said what many were probably too polite to mention. That can happen, he admitted, but of course, that shouldn't happen when you're racing for the World Championship. Ouch. Translation: you crash when you're in a Haas, not when you're supposed to be McLaren's golden ticket. And he didn't stop there. Oh, we don't see the data, Ralf continued, which is F1 speak for, I'm speculating wildly, but let's not let facts get in the way. But yes, it looks like a mistake on his part. Yeah, Ralf, we saw the wall too. Then came the real kicker. And if he doesn't perform this year, it will be difficult for him to move to other teams at some point. Which is Formula One's polite way of saying, you might want to keep that McLaren hoodie, buddy, because there may not be another one waiting. Apparently, in the ruthless, rumor-fueled jungle that is the F1 paddock, once people start whispering that you're not World Championship material, or worse, mentally shaky, those doors to top teams start closing faster than a DRS flap on the final lap. And that's where the story gets juicy. Because here's the thing, Norris is still loved. Well liked. Worshipped by a certain segment of fans who believe in vibes more than lap times. And crucially, McLaren hasn't thrown him under the bus. Yet. In fact, Zak Brown, the man who looks like he'd sell you a race car and a timeshare in Monaco, has made it clear that he's not picking sides. At least not publicly. "We've got our two number ones," Zak said before the Miami Grand Prix. Which is an adorable way of saying, look, I'm not stupid. I need both of them to behave. According to Zak, Lando and Oscar are equals. Yin and yang. Batman and Robin, though it's getting hard to tell who's who. They race each other hard, he said, but clean. For now. He even added, we've yet to see them really have an epic battle. Oh, don't worry, Zak. That day is coming. And when it does, we'll be front row, popcorn in hand, watching Norris try to remember which pedal is, go faster, and which is, don't hit the wall again. Because if there's one thing you can count on in Formula One aside from rain ruining a perfectly good Saturday, it's that teammates will eventually stop being friendly. Especially when trophies are on the line. And when one of them is winning 3 races in 4. And the other is explaining crashes on podcasts. To Zak, though, it's all part of the plan. We know it's more of a when than an if. Which sounds very confident. Until you realize when might come with Norris staring at the back of Oscar's car all season. But hey, let's be fair. Lando is no slouch. He's one of the most naturally gifted drivers on the grid. He's quick, funny, media savvy, and looks like he could still get ID'd buying beer. He's got that McLaren DNA. He's been there through the rough times, the very rough times. And when things click, he's magic. But here's the problem. In Formula One, magic doesn't cut it unless you're also ruthlessly consistent. Mistakes get remembered. Points lost get tallied. And narratives, fair or not, get written fast. Right now, the narrative says Piastri is the silent threat. Lando might be wobbling. And that's the kind of story that becomes very hard to rewrite mid-season. Of course, this could all change. One brilliant weekend in Miami, a clean qualifying, a smart drive, a cheeky win, and suddenly, everyone's singing the "Lando's Back" anthem. We've seen it before. F1 fans have the attention span of a goldfish when it comes to redemption arcs. But until then? The pressure is on. Not just from Ralf Schumacher and the podcast pundits. But from the guy sitting 10 points ahead, in the same garage, eyeing the same trophy. So here's the deal, Lando. No more walls. No more wobbling. Time to buckle up, get that head in the game, and remind everyone why they ever thought you were a future world champion in the first place. Because if you don't, well, Formula One doesn't wait. Not for anyone. Not even for the fan favorite with the cool Twitch clips.